Breaking Bad had us all on the edge of our seats with its riveting portrayal of Walter White and his dark turn into drug kingpin Heisenberg. Similarly, the prequel series Better Call Saul looks at the transformation of Jimmy McGill into the Saul Goodman we meet in Breaking Bad. The show has been a steady burn and has reached its boiling point at the end of Season 5. Here's a rundown on everything you need to know before Season 6 of Better Call Saul and what to expect in what will surely be a tense final season. Before he was Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad, he was Jimmy McGill. Better Call Saul delves deep into the origin story of everyone's favorite Plaza Strip lawyer. The character didn't make an entrance until Season 2 of Breaking Bad, but he mesmerized our screens from the start. We questioned his ease and willingness to break the law for the right price. But was Saul always willing to work in the gray areas of the law? Did he have gradual Breaking Bad moments like Walt, causing his character to transform into the shady lawyer we met in Breaking Bad? When Jimmy was young, he worked for his father at his small corner store and witnessed con artists repeatedly scam his father from his hard-earned money. One of the con artists offered Jimmy a lesson about wolves and sheep. From that lesson, we see the start of Slippin' Jimmy. We witnessed Jimmy began stealing from the family till, and over the years, he embezzled almost $14,000 from the store, leading to its closure. Jimmy blamed the store's closure to his father's excessive generosity and took no blame for his actions. His brother, Chuck, however, saw it differently and blamed Jimmy for the store's closure and even their father's death. During his teenage years, Jimmy began playing his own cons in order to get quick money. His most used con was to stage a fall on a patch of ice in the winter to earn himself some cash. This is where he earned the nickname Slippin' Jimmy. He took part in fake Rolex scams and even started an ID forgery business. Jimmy was gifted with convincing people into buying a story, which would assist him in the legal profession one day. He eventually runs into trouble with the police, and Chuck helps him avoid criminal charges by using his knowledge of legal loopholes. As a condition for helping, Chuck asks Jimmy to promise that he will move away from Cicero and start a legitimate career path. Chuck warned Jimmy that he better not make a fool of him if he helped get him off criminal charges. Jimmy is inspired by his older brother Chuck to leave his con man life and begins working in the mailroom at Chuck's law firm, Hamlin, and McGill. We can see that Jimmy is motivated to walk the straight and narrow and create something with his life, especially after meeting Kim Wexler. All was well until Chuck learns that Jimmy put himself through law school and was hoping for a position at HHM. Chuck quickly sabotages Howard Hamlin from hiring Jimmy at the firm. We learn that Chuck couldn't stand the thought of Slippin' Jimmy with a law degree working at HHM, especially since he studied through correspondence, whereas Chuck felt he had to work harder for his degree. As a result, Jimmy is forced to start his practice in the storage room of a nail salon and does everything he can to get by to pay the bills. After Chuck's separation from his wife, he developed a hypersensitivity to electronics. Even though it was evident that Chuck had a mental health condition, Jimmy followed all of Chuck's rules to help him feel comfortable. Before entering Chuck's home, Jimmy would place all of his electronics in the mailbox before grounding himself to remove the static charge from his body. Jimmy tries to convince his brother to receive a buyout from Howard for Chuck's percentage of the firm, which would cause HHM to enter bankruptcy. Instead, Howard wants Chuck to continue to receive what he calls sabbatical pay indefinitely. Jimmy's intentions here can be viewed in two ways. Is Jimmy looking after his brother's intentions, who he knows is suffering from a mental illness and may never be able to return to HHM as a full partner and never fully realize his financial worth in the company? Or is Jimmy looking to gather a piece of the $17 million payout, whether that is initially or later on as part of Chuck's estate? Their relationship has always been a tricky one and does not get better as time progresses. Chuck relays Howard's concerns about Jimmy using the McGill last name when practicing law, which angers Jimmy even more. Jimmy is a complex character and viewers get to see his heart, but also his quest for gain at any cost. When Jimmy realizes Sandpaper Crossing's senior living facility is overcharging their elderly patients, he threatens a class action lawsuit. We see Jimmy to seemingly care for the tenants at the home. He gets to know each of them and even power walks with them at the mall. As endearing as all that was, we then see Jimmy plot a scheme to have Mrs. Landry accept a large settlement from Sandpaper Crossing as the decision was in her hands. Jimmy manages to have all of Mrs. Landry's friends shun her, causing all of us to seriously hate Jimmy for what he did to poor Mrs. Landry. Even Jimmy realized that he went too far and managed to get Mrs. Landry back into her group of friends. Jimmy, unable to work at the law firm founded by his brother, quickly learns that the life of a public defender doesn't always pay the bills. Jimmy begins to use the alias Saul Goodman as a play on the phrase, "It's all good, man." This is the moment Jimmy slowly begins his transformation into Breaking Bad Saul. He is once again putting on a con, this time to the entire world and himself. With Saul, he can create an entire new persona and wear flashy clothes. He becomes a fictionalized TV lawyer who is willing to bend the rules when filming his commercials. Jimmy doesn't have the money to hire a professional production crew or get permits to film. He instead hires amateur students and films at the local school in order to use their flag as part of his commercials. He is willing to lie to the principal when confronted, as Jimmy knows it is a dog-eat-dog world and he has to bend the rules to get his big break. By reverting back to the Slippin' Jimmy way of doing business under the guise of Saul Goodman, it will be easier for Jimmy to care about any morals he may have had left. Kim is the one thread holding Jimmy together after his brother dies. Once Kim breaks bad, the remainder of who Jimmy is will also fragment. When Howard feels guilty over his past treatment of Jimmy, he offers him a job at HHM. Jimmy of the past would have taken Howard up on this offer. This is not the same Jimmy. He's changed. We see Jimmy destroy Howard's car viciously with a bowling ball in a bout of anger. Jimmy is now Saul Goodman, and HHM is too big for Saul Goodman. We see that Jimmy is even a bad influence on Kim. He is causing destruction of the lives around him because of the decisions he's made. We know that Kim was not a character identified in Breaking Bad, so we assume her fate will not be a great one at the conclusion of Season 6. Here's to hoping that she doesn't face tragedy due to Jimmy's decisions, but since we know this takes place in the Breaking Bad world and there's tragedy everywhere, I'm not liking the look of Kim's fate. Season 5's conclusion left us on edge. Lalo Salamanca, nephew of Don Hector Salamanca, took aim at breaking down Gustavo Fring's drug empire after his uncle Don Hector suffered his stroke. After surviving an assassination attempt at the hands of Gus, Lalo seeks revenge on Gus as well as Nacho, who he discovered betrayed him. After Jimmy's near-death experience in the desert, Jimmy brings Kim to a hotel where they lay low. We were left in a conversational moment between Jimmy and Kim that will certainly chart the course of Season 6. We know the future for Jimmy only gets darker. In Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman is someone who serves to connect drug distributors and other criminals for hire. Saul is entrusted by Walt and Jesse to launder drug money from his crystal meth production. When Walt's criminal life was uncovered, Saul was forced to abandon his life, extracted by Ed to Omaha, Nebraska, where he began a new life as Gene. Season 6 will bring us toward Breaking Bad and toward Jimmy, Saul, and Gene's conclusion. Better Call Saul has teased us with Kim's dark side throughout the series. She has always been there to ground Jimmy and stop him from crossing the lines of legality. However, we have seen moments where she broke bad, leading us to the penultimate moment in Season 5's finale where we see her character in a new light. Kim is the last person we believed would break bad. She has always seemed determined to walk a straight line and often would counsel Jimmy to exercise a better judgment with his brother Chuck. In a flashback scene, we see a young Kim refusing to get into the car of her drunk mother. Kim has been someone who had to fight for everything she has and has seen every type of con, both when growing up and in the courtroom. This makes her role-playing game with Jimmy even more interesting, as we see Kim flip a switch and become one of the con artists she has witnessed in her past. Kim and Jimmy frequently talk up a stranger in the bar, selling the strangers on a dream of making large financial gains. In doing so, Kim and Jimmy manage to get the stranger to pay for their large alcohol tab. You can see the rush of adrenaline in Kim when they succeed in selling the false dream of success to an unknowing stranger. She becomes a different person, and in one scene we see her kissing Jimmy passionately after this rush of excitement. She knows that Jimmy will walk the dark line of ethics. This is something she appreciates even if she doesn't know it herself. She asks Jimmy to become Saul for something that she needs. She needs Saul to save Mr. Acker from Mesa Verde. She is even willing to marry Jimmy so that their conversations will be protected by spousal privilege. We see Kim take more and more turns to becoming someone who is more like the person she role-played in that bar. In a moment that shocked us, Kim brainstorms a con to ruin Howard's life in order to get the Sandpiper case to settle and receive a cash settlement herself. We see Kim shooting finger guns at Jimmy as she heads to the shower. Jimmy is shocked and seemingly devastated with this truth. Was this Kim all along? Each season has teased us with a few minutes of Jimmy's life after the events of Breaking Bad. These scenes have been depicted in black and white and give us a bleak look at the life he has been living in secretly. What better way to torture Jimmy more so than forcing him to live a dull life in hiding when his character has always been very flashy and colorful? We learn that he now works at a mall as a manager of a Cinnabon and spends his nights watching a secret stashed VHS copy of his old Saul Goodman commercials. He is miserable, and we are miserable seeing the fall of this once vibrant man. We know that Jimmy won't die in the final season of Breaking Bad, but Gene might. History has shown us the final season will see Jimmy and Gene go through the ringer, and we will all be there for the ride. Did you know that even the names of the episodes have hidden clues as to what comes next? The show creators crafted a hint about the upcoming introduction of Breaking Bad villain Gustavo Fring. The title letter of each Season 2 episode, when rearranged, spelled out Fring's back. Have you picked up any clues that indicate the direction which Better Call Saul will take in its final season? Post your theories below.